Hey everybody, and thank you so much for taking the time to check out this first episode of Bad Movie Debate. I am your host, Jacob Babb, and before we get rolling on that first debate, I just want to sit down and have a little chat about the process of this podcast. So every episode, I'm going to sit down with the guest of the week, and we're going to watch a bad movie, a critically bad movie, according to the ratings out there. So low Rotten Tomatoes scores, low Meta scores, and low IMDb reviews and scores. And we're going to watch this movie, and then we're going to debate whether it truly is a bad movie or not, or if, critics are just being too harsh and it's a lot more fun and a lot more good stuff going on than they give it credit for. But to make things interesting and to keep everything fresh, no matter what my guest of the week says, I am going to argue the opposite of what they're saying. So if they love it, I'm going to hate it. And if they hate it, I am going to absolutely love it. That way, like I said, things are just a little bit more fresh and interesting, and it doesn't get bogged down to an hour of people just talking about how good or bad a movie is, because that's really boring. The show's called Bad Movie Debate, so somebody has to be debating. So if we're just agreeing the whole time, who wants to listen to that? That sounds terrible, honestly. But anyway, thank you again so much for taking the time to check this out and give it a listen. Hopefully you will be back and back and back for every episode as they get released. But for now, let's start with Tyler Eads as we discuss Alien 3.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you some breaking news. There's been reports all over the area of something crazy going on, something big. People's homes, their minds even, are being taken over by something called, what is it they're calling it? They're calling it Bad Movie Debate.
What up, nerds? Welcome to Bad Movie Debate, the inaugural Bad Movie Debate podcast with your host, me, that's Jacob Babb. And today I have with me the incomparable Tyler Eads. Tyler, introduce yourself.
What's up, everybody? I'm here to talk about the movie with Jacob. Definitely looking forward to kicking this podcast off. Probably going to get my ass handed to me in debate, but that's all right. I'm here for it.
Well, we'll see. We'll see about that. So today we are going to be discussing Alien 3. It's a bit of a doozy. Before we get into that, though, actually, let's talk about since we're talking about Alien 3. You know, we were debating before the debate, the pre-debate, if you will. What our top, how are we gonna? What's the genre of this movie? You know what I mean? So we were like, oh, is it horror? Is it sci-fi? It's a little bit of both. And we were like, well, let's just do our top 5. Tyler, the genius that he is, had the idea. Let's do just movies involving extraterrestrials in any genre, just anything that involves extraterrestrials. So do you want to list yours, your top 5? Give yourself a little bit of pedigree. Let people know you're the real deal.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that this list enhances this debate because while this is certainly, I think at most a horror movie, it does really try to encapsulate what it's like to deal with, an extraterrestrial being. The whole entire series does, right?
Of course. So
I think, first and foremost, the best extraterrestrial film of all time is E.T., actually. Yes, it's a Spielberg family film, but my God, it just captures, what I think any of us as children would have done if we met a nice alien being and how we would have handled that. Number 2 is John Carpenter's The Thing, fucking perfect film. Are we cursing on this podcast?
Oh yeah. Okay. This is a not safe for work. Don't bring your kids. Also, there's gonna be major spoilers throughout. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, watch it before. If you don't care, keep listening. Whatever.
followed by The Thing, or The Thing is followed by Alien, followed by Aliens. Yes. Followed by my hot take, Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow?
Tom Cruise. Yes.
With little baby boy Tommy Cruise?
Yes, dude. That movie is actually okay. Wait, take that back.
Oh,
District 9 over Edge of Tomorrow. District 9 over Edge of Tomorrow for sure.
Oh, last minute change.
Yes.
I mean, Edge of Tomorrow is a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. That is a good movie. Still have not watched District 9, so I can't really weigh in on that one.
Yeah, dude, that movie's fantastic.
I know. I may need to update this list after I finally see it. But regardless, good choices. Overall, obviously, you have Alien and Aliens in there, so that's so you know what's going on in that regard. So my number one is Alien, of course. The first one. The best one. It's amazing. That's just, everyone knows. It's just so good. Then my second one is The Thing. What do you know? Another absolutely perfect fucking movie. Just, so good. Then I got me some, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Another Spielberg. Yeah. Spielberg as well. But a little bit more serious, a little bit more heady, based on a true story. If y'all didn't know, look that up. This isn't a podcast about all that, but based on a true story. Then we've got an oldie, Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Oh, okay, all right, yep.
But I'm not talking about that 70s one about consumerism. I'm talking about the OG one. That was, everybody said was about communism, but in actuality, they were like, we just wanted to make a movie that was like scary and had like alien weird stuff happening in it and stuff. The old black and white one. It is so good.
I have not even seen that movie.
It is so scary. I've
seen the Donald Sutherland one, but not that one.
Okay, so the Donald Sutherland one, a lot of people are probably going to give me shit for this. I have never finished it. I get about an hour in and I'm like, I don't care anymore.
Damn.
I just love
it is pretty trippy. I feel like this aesthetic is the main appeal there.
Yeah, well, I mean, don't get me wrong. The trippy part I ain't got no problems with, because the first one is extremely if I could talk trippy in all that regard in terms of the plot and everything too, but just, man, the way the story plays out and everything, just so good. And then one of the best movies ever, Men in Black, #1.
Oh shit, dude!
Oh,
it's a great movie. My God.
It's just so good. It's just so good in every single way. Again, that's not actually what the Men in Black are, but again, we're not here to talk about all that. Look it up yourselves. It's a lot weirder than the movie portrays it to be, but it's so good. It's just so fun.
Pick a movie by the canceled Will Smith at this point, honestly, dude. It's pretty bold of you.
I mean, he wasn't canceled at the time, and he makes this look good, you know. So
yes.
It's just nice. I mean, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to just disagree with that because he does. Tommy Lee he's looking all right too. Don't get me wrong. He's doing his thing, but you know, it is what it is. All right. So before we get into actually screaming at each other about this movie, we're going to go over some of these ratings for Alien 3. So Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 46% on the critic scale, on the critic side. As pretty bad, especially for one of the biggest franchises in the film industry. And then
by the critically acclaimed Fincher at that point, you know.
Actually, that's actually something I was going to bring up later, but I'll go ahead and bring it up now. This is his first feature ever. Before that, he was he was doing a bunch of shorts and a bunch of music videos. Like he did a bunch of Madonna music videos and stuff. But So this is his debut, and it was not great. So imagine it was not received well. Imagine if he had just given up and all the things we would have missed out on. Like, right? Yeah, it's horrifying. Scarier than Alien 3. Let's just go ahead and say that. The thought of that. But coincidentally, 46% is also the audience score, which you don't see that a lot, where there's a complete agreement between the critics and the audience. So everybody's pretty evenly spread on this. And then IMDb is a 6.4 out of 10, which is only users. So it's a little bit more loved on there, but that makes sense. A Metacritic, a 59 Metascore, and a 6.1 user score. So, they're all you're not passing the test with any of these. You're getting closer with some than others, but you're still getting a solid D minus. Alrighty. So speaking of those critics, let's hear what one gentleman here had to say. So Desson Thompson for Washington Post says, ironically, Alien 3 is not a bad movie. In fact, here's the rub. It's too interesting to make an exciting summer flick. He says it's too interesting for people to like it. There's too much going on. There's too much under the surface for people to be able to fully engage, is what I get from that quote there.
Yeah, that's actually, I hadn't read that review. That's incredibly interesting, especially given all the context. That's very interesting.
Yeah, exactly. There's lots of different contexts and stuff. I thought that was interesting as well. Now, this guy has a much different opinion. It's just so good. James Danili, I don't know. I can't really his last name. Anyway, sorry, James. For Real Reviews says, quote, Alien 3 is, simply put, a mess. The writers have no idea how to tell a coherent, entertaining story. With the exception of a surprise or two, there isn't much worthwhile here. So one guy says it's boring and not that entertaining because it's too complex and too interesting. And the other guy says it's not entertaining and it's boring because it sucks.
That's right. Right.
And that's it. So we got a lot going on here in the critic world, which is fascinating. Oh my gosh. All right. So with that information in mind, Tyler, what'd you think? What's your opinion?
Well, I think that this movie is very bad. Partially because, in line with James' opinion there, partially because it truly is a complete incoherent mess at times. And the other half of me thinking it's bad is because it had so much potential to be, honestly, maybe my favorite Alien film. I think it certainly could have been a masterpiece had David Fincher actually had the threshold to work that he wanted to. So watching it is honestly a chore to me. I watched it 3 times to prepare for this podcast. And every time I was like, damn, all right, I'm going to enjoy it this time. I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to appreciate the context. I'm going to appreciate cinematography. I'm going to appreciate yada, yada, yada. But every time, like a quarter of the way through, I'm like, my God, I want to stop. Please let it stop. Man, it just fizzles and it truly disintegrates as a fucking xenomorph's blood through the subflooring of the Nostromo. Okay.
Damn.
It just goes kaput very quickly for me. So I think this movie sucks.
Wow. That's harsh words. harsh words from Tyler. Well, you're wrong. Let's just say that. Let's just put it that way. This movie is good. This is a good movie. It falls in line with the alien mythos in a way that is very interesting and honestly quite compelling when you consider the circumstances that Ripley finds herself in this one, in the larger narrative of the first two. Like, I'm going to try to stray from getting into the deeper stuff. Like, the only thing I'm trying to reference is 1 and 2, as if it had just come out and I had to have an opinion on it. And that's just good. I mean, it's not a coherent story. Doesn't make any sense to me. Like, it's pretty straightforward, like what happens and like the pacing and everything. And we'll get more into all of it here in a second. But I will, as far as not being able to pay too much attention, yes, I did fall asleep the first time I went to watch it to prepare. In my defense, I had just worked a 5-hour week, 10-hour shifts, and then a 4-hour shift. So I had worked 44 hours that week, and it was the night of the last shift. And I started it late. But yeah, it didn't. I definitely fell asleep about an hour in. Right when you said it starts to fizzle out, I definitely just on the couch. So I had to get up and watch it again the next day so I could continue my analysis, let's say.
Nothing like an early morning Alien3,
Yeah, exactly. I was rejuvenated though, so I was able to really focus and like he says, like Thompson says, it's too interesting to be entertaining. So I understand that.
That is such a bad appraisal. That's just like, that's like breaking up with a girl and being like, you're too complicated for me. It's like, no, that's not a compliment. That's still breaking up with her, man. I don't know.
Right. I mean, it's honestly a really nice way of saying you just didn't get it. You didn't get it.
I'm not sure that Mr. Thompson of Washington Post got it then if he was saying that it was interesting, but nonetheless.
Yeah, but nonetheless. All right. Well, since I love it, you hate it. Let me ask you this. What was your favorite part of it? What did you like? You mentioned you did like you said you really wanted to. You said you really wanted to like it. So there had to be some chunks of gold in there. Hit me with some of those.
Absolutely. I think apart from one very specific scene, the music is great. The score done by his name is escaping me right now, cinematographer, composer Elliot Goldenthal. Was really, really solid. Music was used really well, and also silence was used really well in this film. I love the music.
One quick sidebar. What's that? You said all the music except for one particular moment. Could you expound on that for just a second? Because I'm very curious and I don't want to forget.
I would love to.
Let's do it. Let's get into it.
So the unsuccessful rape of Sigourney Weaver's Lieutenant Ripley, when she is taking Bishop from the trash pile, is, first of all, a terrible scene. Truly a terrible, terrible fucking scene. The set is great. The trash heap, it looks fantastic. The rain, I love the way it looks, but just the way it all kind of unravels is a terrible scene. And the the way that they knock her down as if they're in the Adam West Batman, with very melodramatic, like, oof, oh, ah, and then she.
Yeah, it might as well have had onomatopoeia, like, pow,
yes,
like going and
as well have. Holy shit. And then
fucking hilarious.
And then this Sex Pistols, never mind the Bullocks looking motherfucker, gets behind her, and then some new metal shit straight out of 1997 roars in, while the rest of the music has been very orchestral, very tense, very nuanced. Something out of a Korn album blares through into this, and this dude pulls down his cyberpunk goggles and roars as if he's like conquering the world, and he's about to defile our hero here. And it is one of the worst scenes I've ever seen in a popular film. It's just way too tongue-in-cheek. It's just way too absurd. It almost makes me think that Fincher had recorded something for a System of a Down video and then just like used that, spliced it into Alien 3. It's terrible, and that use of music is one of the worst moments in the whole movie, for sure.
And that's completely fair, because I completely agree with that. There's really no debating that in any shape, form, or fashion, because it's so aggressive. The only thing I could say is, I mean, I hate that there was an attempted rape scene in it in general, but I mean, it makes sense for the context of where they are with the double Y chromosome guys, they're aggro and stuff like that. So like, I mean, I get it in context, but like, good Lord, they could have made it a little less new metal. That part had never crossed my mind, but like, that's exactly what it is. Cause I do remember thinking, what the fuck is this music that's happening right now? And then I almost had to take a break when he started to pull the goggles down. I was just like, are you fucking serious right now, dude? Like, what is terrible? What does he need the goggles for? What is it? What?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's purely just for aesthetic. Right. Well, because he makes it thinks that he looks cool as fuck. Like,
exactly. And it's just so, even ironically, it's not a funny or cool thing for them to do. No. It was so off. And I do want to talk more about that scene in a sec, but I did want to the other main thing that I did like about this movie is obviously, I mean, the Fincher touch on this movie, and the ambition in shooting the xenomorph in a way that hadn't been done in the previous two films. He really tried to do some incredible camera work. Sometimes it worked really well. Other times it looked really shitty, to be honest, which is another gripe that I have for later. But I think that this movie is filmed and directed in a very particular way that is very unique to the universe of Alien, and really just, I mean, to the movie universe. Obviously, David Fincher is a very popular director, and it's for a very obvious reason. Everybody likes his movies because they look very different from everything else. So I did enjoy that aspect as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're definitely right about that, because I had written in my notes as well that it's his first one. And it's so interesting because it's like you can see what's coming later in his career already in his first feature, his feature debut with this movie. Like, nothing particular is jumping to my mind, but like you can see elements of like Seven and like the groundwork for Seven, which I believe is his next movie, or it's like his third movie.
It's the one. It's right after this.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So you can like see that, like if you watch those back to back, you'd be like, oh yeah, these are obviously both David Fincher. Like there's no way. So I definitely agree with you on both of those points, including the negative one we kind of sidebarred on, as well. On the flip side, for me, something that I didn't like, obviously that the new metal, music video that they put in there was not great. But obviously I wasn't a huge fan of the CGI of the xenomorph. Like those CGI shots of the xenomorph, what on earth were those? Because you also could, not only did it look terrible. I mean, I'll forgive them. It's the 90s, so CGI is just now really becoming a thing that is like more affordable and you can do. So they're like, yeah, we'll do that. That's way cheaper than doing an actual prop or like a costume and like stuff like that. But like, it makes it look like the xenomorph is the size of a dog in some parts and then 12 feet tall in other parts.
Yes, it is. It is very strange. And actually, you may already know this, but so in the scene where they're trying to like trap it and it's chasing them through the little, so that's they used like a rod puppet and filmed the rod puppet separately and then like, I guess, laser discs, like composited it onto the recorded thing. So it's like, it's a separate thing. And I was watching some like behind the scenes stuff about it, and it had never been done before in film, which again, super ambitious that they tried this, but
yeah, of course,
you're right. Like the way that they had to like obviously upsize or downsize the xenomorph that they filmed, like with the puppet, like to fit into the shot. And sometimes you're right. You're like, holy shit, this thing looks like the xenomorph from Alien 1. It's absolutely giant. Like it's bigger than a human. And then other times you're like, wow, this is actually the size of the Rottweiler that it.
Yeah. It's literally like, just kick it.
Yeah.
Just like kick it away and it'll scream, like run off. Like, and you're like, okay, we're done.
it didn't, like you said, I mean, it's early for these kinds of effects in movies. So, I mean, we have to give them credit where credit is due, but you're right. It does not work in a lot of situations. It doesn't scale through.
Yeah. And I feel like, perhaps when it came out, people were a little bit more impressed with it just because, I mean, obviously we have hindsight, and like I was literally playing a video game yesterday that looked a million times better than that. And that was a Hollywood blockbuster of a major franchise and stuff. Like it's insane. But you mentioned, speaking of dog, one of my absolute favorite moments, and one of my favorite moments that I thought was so good, the funeral scene where when Dylan comes in and he starts to have his religious speech, because they all got their religious little cult going on and stuff, that juxtaposed with the dog chest burster scene, because first of all, real quick, it's a dog xenomorph. That's the first time we've ever seen that, so that's really interesting, and that's shaking things up, and it's like, okay, this is fresh, but it's still alien, so that's great. But his speech juxtaposed with the chest burster moment when it comes out and everything, just the like he says, each seed, promise of a flower, new beginning, and then it cuts, and it's cutting back and forth as the aliens becoming fully ready to attack and stuff is absolutely incredible filmmaking. If you just had that scene without any other context, that might be some of the best stuff Alien had ever put out. You know what I mean? Just that 10-minute scene. It was so good. It was so good. I love that.
Well, I think the dog chest buster scene is pretty sick. While I did think the juxtaposition was cool, especially because Charles Duluth, is that Dylan's name? His actual name, the actor?
I think so. That sounds right.
Oh, no,
yeah.
Charles Dutton. Charles S. Dutton.
That's it. Yeah.
His performance is great. That speech is really, really cool. The set of the furnaces, really, really cool. But I have to say one of the huge problems with this film is the whole religious thing. I think is utter bullshit. And I'm
so happy you brought that up.
I get that. I think that, and honestly, I think your choice of the Thompson Washington Post quote was really interesting because, you know, he says this movie is hard to enjoy because there is so much going on in the background. You know, maybe that the whole religious context bullshit thing was part of Fincher's plan to make this, you know, more of a comment on society as a whole and how, you know, you have different sections of life that all intermingle. But man, I don't care if it was, you know, artistic ingenuity. I don't care if it was some grand statement. Just because you're making a statement doesn't make the art good. And I think the religion is so annoying. It's so oh my God, it's so annoying and I don't care. It does not make these characters interesting. In fact, I think it was, as you know, this movie had several different scripts. Fincher bought onto it before like when there was like barely even a script written, like 2 or 3 scripts had been scrapped at that point. I think they did throw the religious thing on it just because it's like, well, we don't really have time to write interesting characters, so let's just make them all zealots. I think that's what they did, and man, I think it's truly one of the worst aspects of this movie. It is one of the things that absolutely ruined it for me.
I'm so happy you brought it up because now I get to reveal to you the whole point of the fucking movie. You ready for this?
Yes.
All right. So Alien. That is haunted house in space. You get the haunted house horror, but we're in space. Aliens, you get like action war thriller, but we're in space. You know, fucking awesome. Alien 3 is a Joan of Arc medieval knight versus a dragon tale. And that's why the religion is there, because the prisoners are monks. Look at the way they're dressed. They're all in robes and stuff. They're very zealous. They have their head monk and everything like that. But also consider the fact that and then the Joan of Arc, obviously, Sigourney Weaver's there. She's wearing similar clothes. She shaves her head. She has because Clemens, the doctor gives her like medicine, but it like makes her more aggressive and she'll want to shave her head or the lice. That's what it is. It's the lice.
Yeah,
it's like lice. You need to shave your head. That's what it is. So like all of that works. But then the thing that really drives that point home is that when one of the characters, it's the scene with the candles when they're like lighting the candles and like they're doing work like lower and stuff, which is a great scene, and like the bloody faced xenomorph is horrifying. Like that's good. Dude. Like that's just classic horror right there. Like that's some of the best horror in the movie. It's like they're like, oh, where are you going out? You know, they're making the dumbest decisions ever. You know, they're like, we'll just go. You know, it's classic. It works. It's great. But the one who survives when they bring him into the infirmary is saying that there's a dragon, that it was a dragon. There's a dragon on board and stuff. You know what I mean? So like, that's why the religion is so necessary, because it's like medieval folklore mythology with like a dragon and like knights and like monks and stuff tied in with a Joan of Arc kind of thing. So like if Joan of Arc's story was not just necessarily about like God and like stuff like that, but like she was literally fighting like a dragon as well. So they kind of mash those two together. So if you take out the religion in the story, there is then there is no hero's journey for her. There is no call to action. You know what I mean? Like obviously the alien's still there, but it's like, okay, she's just fighting an alien and stuff like that. And I think that's why Thompson's is like, it's too interesting to be entertaining, because there is all this background stuff, but that gives context to that view. Like if you look at it from that lens and stuff like that. And I think that is the most interesting lens to look at from. And full disclaimer, that wasn't I didn't notice that at first myself, but I read some reviews and I saw it mentioned a couple of times and rewatched it, and I was like, yeah, that is absolutely like what this is, like, and that's what's going on. So I don't want to take credit for an idea or say that was an original thought by me, because it wasn't. Lots of people have said that before. I'm just expounding on it, I guess.
So while I've seen those comparisons as well, and I think they are very interesting. I do see a lot of the symbolism, most certainly. But some of it's a stretch, in my opinion. I was reading this article of completely aligning Ripley's whole journey with the Joan of Arc story. And one of the main, and this is written by Scott Manning on scottmanning.com. If anybody wants to give my boy
thank you
here, because he works very, very fucking hard on this article. It has a lot of information. It's like a full thesis paper, I swear to God. He mentions that a huge aspect of Joan of Arc's journey, and one that makes it similar to Ripley's, is that Joan hears and heeds the commands of voices. That is why she did what she did. That was her call to action, was this voice that nobody else could see, just her, which, makes her, I guess, like the more or less the terrestrial tool of some, divine being.
Yeah.
I don't think Ripley has that. She doesn't have everything that she does is completely based on her own survival. The example that Mr. Scott Manning gives, to compare Ripley's journey, to Joan's journey and the whole voice aspect, is Bishop. That Bishop's, retelling of the alien, like that there was an alien on board. Holy shit, you guys are actually being tracked by an alien. That is her version of the voice that makes her, seek out the alien, the dragon. I feel like that's a stretch. While I think the symbolism is truly there, you're right. Like, a dragon is a very specific thing to call the xenomorph. There's no way that's just a coincidence, right? Like, I think that is it's certainly possible that is.
Yeah. It was definitely thought about. Yeah,
exactly. Yes. I think you're right on that one. I just think that, just like many aspects of this movie, while it hit the nail on the head in some parts, it never completed the thought completely on the Joan of Arc thing, or really in any aspect whatsoever. Like, every thought is partially fleshed out. Every aspect of this movie, in my opinion, is partially fleshed out, and that makes it even more core.
Need I remind you of Ripley's quote unquote death at the end, when she T-poses her way into the furnace? How is that not sacrificing herself to save the many, as Jesus did, as a saint of God would?
Right.
Young man. Did you skip a lot of Sunday school? Did you miss that part? Huh? But what do you mean they didn't? What do you mean she didn't complete it? She literally straight up, Jesus on the cross T-poses, yeets herself into the furnace, sacrificing herself for the rest of humanity, quote unquote, the people who were there at the moment.
She does do that. You're right. And that symbolism is super sick. That death scene is super sick. I think that they did a really good job with that. And,
yeah, it's fucking metal as hell. It's awesome.
Yeah, dude, it's super metal. And not new metal. It's good Black Sabbath.
Good metal.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that is really sick, and I do think it supports the Joan of Arc theory. But like I said, there are aspects of the Joan of Arc story that are not at all defined in her journey. And granted, yes, it's a 2-hour movie. You can't hit everything, but I just think it was partially done. I think the Joan of Arc plot comparison was only partially done because, like I said, the voices were missing. Her religiosity is completely missing because Joan of Arc is a religious zealot. I mean, in fact, I mean, Charles Dutton, something, I apologize.
Dylan's character.
Yes, Dylan's character. He even asks her. She sits down at the cafeteria table with them, which is, again, a mixed scene in my opinion. Sits down and he says, "Do you have any faith?" And she says, "No." I mean, she is quite against religion, which is against the Joan of Arc story. Not to say that the rest of it wasn't purposefully aligned with the Joan of Arc story, but that obviously wasn't. So again, I really just think it's a lot of facets of this film were not completely fleshed out, which makes it a problem for me.
Yeah, and I mean, you're definitely not wrong about that. But I do actually want to talk about the that dinner scene, or like when she sits down, because I found that kind of cool. But real quick, so she doesn't have the voices, so she doesn't have God. She's like, nah, like I don't like religion, like nah, like fuck all that. So what if you flip it? Here's a off the dome bullshit rebuttal to that. She's an anti Joan of Arc. It's an anti Joan of Arc story. She follows the same path in a way, and it's
but bust out of that character.
But it's like the opposite. It's because she's not doing it because she has so much faith. She's doing it because she has absolutely no faith. And she's like, I just want to stop this thing from fucking killing all of humanity. And mostly me right now. I want it to not kill me right now. First and foremost. So I think that because you were saying all that, and I was like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's all kind of, that whole Joan of Arc thing's really not panning out, huh? I was really into that. So I was like, but then that thought, I was like, okay, so you're like, she doesn't hear God, is basically what you're saying. It's like, yeah, so it's she's an anti Joan of Arc thing.
That is an interesting point. I think
because correct me if I'm wrong, but Joan of Arc, a lot of her stuff is she's fighting against a lot of people who don't believe, right? Like, isn't that part of what the fighting is? Like, it's like not a crusade thing, but some other kind of religious war, like kind of thing. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but regardless, I'm pretty sure that's part of it. So in this, it's the opposite. They flip it. So has no faith, and she's fighting to like kill the thing and stuff, and like they have all the faith, like because they have their own little weird religion and stuff like that. So they took elements of that story, retooled it for a beyond modern, like postmodern world where people that's probably the only religion that's like around really at that point. And like a big sci-fi world like that, I feel like a lot of religion as we explore the galaxies and stuff will start to fall off. So it's like an anti thing, you know what I mean? And she's like, no, this is science. This is a fucking alien, and we need to fucking kill it. And that's the end of it and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's fair. I think you could certainly argue that. And I think that is certainly an interesting way to go about it. However, my final rebuttal to that would be, if you're having to delve this deep into what ifs, does that argue more for or against the quality of the movie?
No, dude.
That's the question, dude.
It's too interesting to be entertaining.
And that's, Mr. Thompson of the Post and yourself, if that's the perspective, then that's the perspective. To me, it's going in too many different ways all at once and not getting anywhere to be a good movie to me.
There's a lot of threads that they start and try to wrap up, and they don't do it very well. Kind of like did you ever see Kong Skull Island?
Dude, I actually haven't seen that movie.
Dude, okay, so
I think I'd be really into it though.
Quick, okay, you won't because it's exactly the same thing. It's the exact same thing. I actually really hated that movie because it starts off fucking awesome. You have a killer cast, like big monster, like, they're building up to all the other stuff and everything. But they get there, and if you look at like the deeper level of stuff, like they're tackling like zealot war people, and then like Brie Larson is there, and she's only there to be a strong female character. Everything that she does, it seems like it's related around that she's a woman, which is, in my opinion, anti-feminist.
Right.
Like she's this like one of the smartest people there. Great, but it's like it's just like really focused on that, and like there's all these different threads of like
something heavy, and they're like, "Oh my god, you can do that!"
Just shit like that. Yeah, it's like all this stuff. Like they open all these like societal and cultural things that they're like quote unquote talking about or like trying to like speak on, and then and I'm like, I felt like I was watching like 15 different movies.
Yeah.
I'm like, stick to one thing, and this movie definitely has a bad job of sticking to one thing as well.
And that furthers my opinion of this movie could be so good. It could be so fantastic. It has so many good things going for it, and it just falls short every time, which you would think it makes it more in the middle for me, like, oh yeah, like I enjoyed it somewhat, but no, like it just gets nowhere on so many, half promises that it makes it even worse for me. So.
Oh, no, absolutely. No, absolutely.
Really,
and going to that dinner scene real quick, though, the only thing I really wanted to say about that was when he's like all in her face and like, yeah, like I rape women, I murder women, like I'm a big tough guy, you should be scared of me. And she's just like, oh, I must make you pretty nervous then. And then sits down. I was like, ooh, that's that badass Ripley I know and love right there. Like I thought that line was sick as fuck. I don't know why, but I was like, that is so fucking fresh. She's like, I'm not scared of you, you piece of shit. I fought these aliens many times, bro. You don't know what I've been through. And I was like, that's sick as fuck. I thought that was just awesome. That's really all I wanted to say about that.
Dude, I think that scene is really solid. And it does highlight badass Ripley. We'll say though, there are times where they get a little lazy with the whole, oh, Ripley's just a badass woman. She can do whatever she wants. And they make her do stupid things instead of like actually great things. Like,
what did she do that was stupid? When has Ripley ever done anything stupid, sir?
Well, specifically when she gets caught by these dudes in the weird new metal scene, the whole time she's being escorted, and she knows she can't fight all these dudes off by herself. She needs someone with her. That is just common sense. She's able to do the cafeteria scene because she knows Charles Dance is there. She knows the warden is there, and she knows the warden's hand is there. Like, it's still badass. She still confronts this dude. She's still certainly in danger, and she's willing to face that to a point. But when she goes out completely alone, that's not something Alien 1 or Alien 2 Ripley would ever do because it's stupid. You can't put yourself in imminent danger without a way to protect yourself. And I don't think she would. And I think they get to times where she does stupid stuff just to forward the plot, and they disguise it as, oh, she's just a brave lady. It's like, no, she's just getting dumb right now.
It's like, that's just I want to disagree with you because that's kind of the whole point. I want to say that everybody's human and they make mistakes. Ripley's not perfect, but like that's a stupid fucking weak argument because she does do stupid stuff. Especially that scene. That's the dumbest thing that she could have done. But again, they had to get that new metal music video in there. It was in the only well known for his music video, David Fincher's contract. It had to have been because I can't.
He had to get one.
He had to. Yeah, it was like it had to. I don't understand why else it would have been there. You could have.
He pulled an endless Frank Ocean and just did like this weird like half album thing. Yeah, just get out of a contract.
Yeah, thanks, Frank. Still waiting on that next one, Frank. If you ever hear this, please, please. I need it. But you mentioned, because I did want to bring this up because this was something I actually hadn't seen Alien 3 in a very, very long time, because I've seen all the movies. I hadn't seen this one in a very long time. I forgot that Tywin Lannister is in this movie, looking younger, stunting, just fucking beefcake. He's a doctor. My God, it was just like he popped up, and I was like, "Holy shit!" I forgot he was in this movie. Let's fucking go! Let's fucking go! And he is so good. The only thing is, it's one of those things. It's like Ripley seems to me like in the first two, she's like pretty like asexual. Yeah. You know, like none of that really matters and stuff. But at the same time, you know, given benefit of the doubt, she's been through a lot. And Charles Dance is probably the most attractive person she's come across in a while. So I get why she was like, I feel safe here. This guy's taking care of me. Let's fuck. You know what I mean? Right. And I'm like, because at first I was like, okay, they're shoehorning in a romance. And then I was thinking about it a little bit more. And I was like, no, I would want to get down after all that shit, and I thought I was finally safe, and someone was willing. My only complaint about it now is that they, which is ironic, they didn't do a gratuitous sex scene. I'm like, come on, like the one time I want it, like come on, and they don't, which is fine, I guess. But I did like about obviously Charles Dance, he's amazing, and it's just good to see him and stuff. But he has an incredible performance. Obviously, Sigourney Weaver is great, no matter how bad a script or a plot or a deeper meaning or anything is. She's great in everything, always. But then he really is like stand out in this movie. He's just so good in every single scene. Maybe I'm just being an American, and his British accent is just fascinating me, and I'm just enthralled with everything he says because of that, for some reason. But and so I thought his character was very compelling, and I thought his character really worked in the context of Ripley and her experience in the past two movies, especially because in Aliens, I can't remember the character's name, but the guy who's like, no, we're going to wipe him out. We're going to wipe him out and just check on him and stuff. Like, no, you can trust me. Like, don't worry about it. And
Paul Reiser's character, right?
Paul Reiser, yes. The company guy. He immediately is like, fuck you, just kidding. Like, we gotta get one of these and get out of here. Like, I don't care about y'all and stuff. And so, like, this is like at least the second, but like third, fourth, fifth time, that she's trusted someone, and I think they towed the line very well with him of, can she trust him or not and stuff, because after, and then his performances, because I'm like, I don't know. I do not know until it's finally revealed. Because like he's got the barcode on his neck, which only prisoners do and stuff. And she's like, well, what's all that about? Like, he's like, I'm not a prisoner. And she's like, well, you got a barcode, so you have to be, right? Like, and he's like, well, it's not a big deal. Like, don't worry about it and stuff. And like, that's super ominous given her history and stuff. And then I think it's really well. And then, you know, we find out, what it was, you know, what happened. And, you know, that he was like a drug addict, and he like accidentally killed people for prescribing wrong dosages and stuff and everything. And he's like paid his time, and this is the only place he could work as a doctor and stuff. And he actually does care, about Ripley and everything like that. And it's like, that's awesome. You're like, oh, thank God. Like, no one's going to betray her. Like, this guy's not going to betray her finally. And then you get a fucking psycho shower scene moment where the fucking alien is like behind comes through the partition, and fucking he just gets annihilated, like sick as fuck. Dude. Like, and it's just like, and you're like, no, finally someone she can trust, a man she can trust who has power. Finally. Someone she can trust and like is on her side and believes her wholeheartedly, and it just gets immediately fucking destroyed. Like, and that is so fucking awesome. That is great shit. Like, so I absolutely love his character.
I I love his character. I disagree, though. I think they took him way too soon. Way too soon.
In the overall story, like
yes,
in the overall story. Oh yeah,
sure,
no,
dude.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Sure. They did not need to kill him in that moment. He, first of all, was carrying the rest of those prisoner actors. Dude, they're terrible. They are horrible. And I'm not saying that they're bad actors. I'm sure they're fine. I would be a horrible actor. I'm not trying to shit on them, but their characters are so annoying. They're like I don't even know. They're truly just all mumbling idiots who look like they're out of, like I said earlier, Sex Pistols, Never Mind the Bollocks, like skinhead punk music video. And I get that's part of like the religious, they're monks and shit, but dude, they all look terrible. They're all just constantly squealing at each other. They're horrible. Charles Dance is the only redeeming male actor aside from Dylan's character. But I think the only reason he was in there was because of the religious aspect, which I have already said is my least favorite part. So I think had Charles Dance been in there with her the whole time when they're trying to trap the xenomorph and they're trying to do that, and then he got killed more ceremoniously. I get it was a good shock moment, but more ceremoniously, it would have been so much better. It would have been so much more effective. It was just for shock value, and I get that Fincher loves to do that. I mean, there's like, isn't there like a scene in Seven where the dude is forced to like kill a woman with like a knife attached to him, like a prostitute,
he has to fuck her to death, dude.
Terrible. Like, he loves shock value, so it's not that surprising.
Oh, did you realize that? Did you realize that dude is in this movie too? That same guy.
Are you serious?
I'm. Maybe it was this movie, or maybe it's a different movie. Double check. Maybe I watched something recently. Double check real quick. I may be wrong about that. I don't know.
I think it's a wasted opportunity for sure. It was really frustrating. I also think I'm not finding them, but he may be in there.
Maybe I watched a lot of movies around the time I was watching this one as well. But no, I'm pretty sure that's him right there. Danny Webb. No, that's not him. Never mind. I'm a moron. Anyway, forget I said anything. Strike it from the records.
I think that it was rushed. I also think that while I liked the romance between Ripley and Tyler Lannister.
Yes, his actual name.
His Christian name. While I enjoyed their romance, I do think they shoehorned it a little bit, actually. You know, I get that she's been afloat in space and, I mean, under different hypersleeps, if you're taking into context Alien 1 and 2, for like 70 some odd years, right?
Yeah, give or take.
Yvonne certainly she needs some human contact, so that's not all that surprising, but part of her character...
she needs some dick.
Right. Part of her character is still that, you know, that's not really something that she's focused on, so it was kind of odd for her character, but also I think if you compare it to, like, the spark that she had with Colonel Hicks in Aliens, you know, the dude from Terminator. His character, it's so much more organic in that movie. It happens very, very calmly, and nothing ever happens, actually. You know, like they like touch and you can like feel that heat between them. She literally looks at him and basically says, "Wanna fuck?" Like, she just looks at him and is like, "Are you attracted to me?" She might as well have just said, "Wanna fuck?" Honestly, I would have had so much.
Would have been better.
It would have been better. I think they shoehorned it a little bit, and the only reason they shoehorned it was to have that moment of shock where they kill him off immediately, like very soon after they have sex, and soon after he has that incredible line of dialogue where he says that he killed all those people, and that's why he was there. Incredible line of dialogue.
Yeah, just a great monologue by him. Absolutely.
God, but right after that, the film. And it honestly, that's where a lot of the momentum in this movie comes to a very tumbling halt to me, is when they get rid of him.
It absolutely is.
Because no one can carry it. And honestly, Sigourney Weaver, great actress. I think she's just okay in this movie. I'm going to be honest with you. I think she's just okay in this movie. I do. I think that they rely more on her being a bald woman with a lot of context to rely on. And I think she just doesn't say a whole lot. And when she is saying things, it's like, it just feels so out of character. It feels so disconnected. I think she's just okay in this movie. And I don't know if it's her performance or if it's the writing. But,
do you think, so you think this might have been a paycheck movie for her? Like she really phoned it in. She's like, I know Ripley. Like, yeah. Like,
originally I would have said yes. When you sent me the questions when I was to watch this movie and reflect that part, I read that and I was like, absolutely, Sigourney Weaver just did this. She was a producer on this movie.
Yeah.
It all checks out, right? Like it all makes sense that she knew that there was money in an Alien 3 because Aliens was one of the biggest fucking hits. And then 7 years passed? I think 86 to 92, I believe.
Yeah,
so 6 years.
Yeah, something like
6
that.
6 years passed. Of course, people are stoked. I'm sure it was Force Awakens level of stoke for this movie, especially in the 90s. So I at first I did think she just signed on for a paycheck. However, I was watching part of the documentary, which actually you should definitely watch. It's called Wreckage and Rage, I believe. It's about like it gives you tons of context of the basically the production nightmare that was this movie. Like all of the different directors, all the different scripts, all the different I think I read something that they had spent like millions, I don't know the exact number, but millions of dollars before the movie, like before they even had Fincher as director. They'd already spent millions of dollars producing a movie that they wouldn't use any of it. So it was a production nightmare. But when I was watching part of that documentary, Sigourney Weaver talked about her relationship with David Fincher and how she was meeting with him and she was like, okay, David, what do you see as, how do you see Ripley? What do you think about her? What do you want to see her as in this movie? And he's like, I don't know. I kind of wanted to see her as like this bald chick and I wanted to die at the end. And she thought that was so sick. She actually shaved her head for this movie. She was so down with Ripley dying at the end. And so hearing her talk about the character development of Ripley in this movie positively, and the fact that she was like fielding those questions to Fincher makes me think that she actually did give a shit about Ripley's character and did want there to be some profound art in this movie. So no, that was a very long answer to me saying no, I don't really think she just phoned it in for a paycheck. Because of all that evidence that I just gave. But I still think her performance is pretty underwhelming, especially in comparison to Alien and Aliens.
And that's all, and that's good. I'm glad she didn't phone it in. It's always so apparent, and I didn't think she phoned it in. I thought she was great as always. But yeah, that is interesting. I didn't know about all of that, so that is interesting. And further proves my point that it's a good movie because she tried so hard. But the best actor in the world can't make up for a flat script and stuff like that.
That's fair.
And the script overall is kind of flat. However, there are things about the script that I do really like. I think that they were going for the right tone of Dan O'Bannon, his philosophy on how to write scripts. Like one of the original writers of the first one. So basically his whole thing is you create the conflict and then you get to that breaking point and then you keep pushing that same conflict into a deeper place. And then the beginning of the third act is like, are they going to fight or are they going to run away? And either or is the right answer. It just depends on what you do with it. And I think if you look at the script and you read the script, it works and it hits all of that, because it starts with Ripley coming to this planet, this prison planet. So there's an outsider that's making everybody uncomfortable. Then by the end of the first act, the alien shows up and you have an outsider that's making everybody uncomfortable. And now they're in fear for their lives. So it's the same conflict, but it heightens and the stakes rise dramatically. And then they go through all of that stuff. And then they have to decide if they're going to fight or if they're going to run away and wait for the company to get there and stuff. And then they decide to fight, obviously, and go from there. So I do think that the script structurally is sound, and they held true to that Dan O'Bannon philosophy, which all of his he did Total Recall as well, like the one with Arnold and stuff, and like all of those, and like all of his stuff like kind of follows that same fashion, and like it really works and it's very compelling. But whoever got a hold of this idea and wrote on it didn't make it as compelling because of characterization and like stuff like that, and then honestly just straight up dialogue at some points, of course. Some of the dialogue is not great, but it is what it is. But yeah, honestly, I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know where I lay after talking to you right now.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit more mixed opinion than I was, because I was a truther for a little bit, for sure. I mean, that might have just been prep for the show. Oh, here's something I wanted to ask you, going back to Tywin being a doctor. So when he first gives her that injection, you're a nurse, for context. Tyler is a nurse. He saves children's lives every day at work. So everybody love him, please. So he goes and he like, he rubs her arm, like you do before you give a shot, like standard. Are you supposed to put a literal puddle of alcohol on somebody's arm before to clean it off?
No,
I had to go back like 3 or 4 times and be like, that's like an absurd amount. Like it's like you took the bottle and just turned it upside down, and once it started to collect in her little like armpit, like where your elbow is, the opposite side of your elbow where they give it to you, there was a puddle there, and he was like, perfect, now I'll wipe it off and give it a shot. Like that was you're in the medical industry, I am not. Like that was ridiculous, right? Did you even notice it, or were you just like, I don't think about medicine when I'm not at work?
I didn't notice it because I actually have to, and this isn't because I'm some like magnificent healthcare practitioner. It's just because like if you've spent any amount of time working in the hospital and then you watch movies with hospital work in it, you realize just how wrong it is.
All of it is, yeah.
Hollywood. It's so incorrect.
Yeah. You have to do what is it? Suspension of disbelief. You're like, okay, yes. It's a movie. It's fine.
I have to turn my head off to it. I really do, because otherwise I'll be like, that's the dumbest shit I've ever seen, and it takes me right out. This movie, and so the way he gives her a shot, he gives it to her in the antecubital region where you have like a ginormous vein. Yeah. So he's giving it to her as if it's an intravenous injection. Yeah. But he like it's a fucking huge needle. Like he does it like a muscular injection. Yeah. So that's not how that works.
Like he could have just stabbed her with it and been done.
And people, they do that all the time in movies. Typically to give that kind of injection, you would need to go into like the shoulder or something like that. But nonetheless, no, you're not supposed to like throw a puddle of alcohol. In fact, you want to let it completely dry, because if it doesn't completely dry, then it hasn't killed all the germs. And also it's going to hurt like a bitch when it goes in there, because that alcohol is going to touch the opening that the needle creates, and it's going to burn. So, PSA, if you go to the doctor and they're about to give you a shot of some sorts and they leave a puddle of alcohol on your arm, Tell them to let it dry first, folks, because that is not how that shit's supposed to go down.
Okay, good. I thought that was wrong. I'm usually pretty good about ignoring stuff like that.
Right.
But I was like, that can't.
You're like, holy shit.
How that works. Like, I mean, because he wipes it all off, you know, and like when they go to do the shot where like he's like actually injecting her, it's like dry again, but like it's just like a fucking. It's like a 2-inch puddle, just
absurd.
Like
it's truly
resting
absurd.
there, just resting there.
Speaking of absurdity, since you liked this movie, I wanted to ask your opinion, if it's okay, if I can throw a curveball in the.
Of course, it's a debate.
Here.
It's a debate. That's what we're here to do.
I wanted to see. So you talked a little bit about like the scale of the alien and how it was super off in moments, right? Like where one moment you're like, oh my God, this is the size of a 7-foot tall man. And in other moments it looks like it's truly a dog. I think some of that was because like we talked about, you know, the scale that they put like the puppet into was off sometimes, but also, you know, they used a puppet a lot of the times. And they actually used a puppeteer from Star Wars A New Hope to do a lot of the puppeting, which I thought was really cool.
That's awesome.
But then they also use a dude in the xenomorph costume like they do in Alien 1 and Alien 2.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that they do that at some moments.
Yes. So I wanted to, so you're talking about that scene with the candles where they get attacked, which I think has the potential to be a sick scene, but I think it's a truly terrible scene because it's very incoherent. But that's not the point. Do you think that the alien looks good in that scene? Because it's the dude in the costume in that scene, right?
Yeah.
So
I think relative to the rest of the movie, I do, especially the moment when they look up and the blood is like dripping all over its face and stuff like that. Like that close up is
incredibly sick.
And honestly, maybe it's just because it's the only shot of the alien I remember in that whole scene. Because I really liked that scene. Like I was saying a little bit earlier, I thought it was just straight up pure horror filmmaking. Like you have like the like candles and like they're going out and they're like, what's going on? And like it slowly builds the tension in a way that you would see in like any typical horror movie. Like that was the scene that felt the most horror to me. Like that scene was just horror in a sci-fi setting. You know, because obviously, as we said, Alien always toes the line between is it horror, is it sci-fi, is it both, is it neither? Like that one was just horror, but it just happened to be in space and it was an alien, not like a monster or a killer or something like that. And so, yeah, I think because I get the feeling that you don't like the way it looks in that scene. I think I'm gonna say yes, I do like it, but I think I'm gonna have to give the caveat that it's the classic I'm just a human, I have a human brain, so the only part I remember is the last part which is the best part, which is the alien with the bloody mouth and stuff like that. And then next thing it's like there's a dragon and stuff, and like that like that last shot into that scene and stuff, like I thought that all played really well, and everything. Are there really bad moments with the costume that I don't remember? Because it seems like that's what you're about to tell me.
What I'm getting at? No, so that's actually not what I'm getting at. I actually love the way the alien looks in that scene. I just think the lead up, while I do like the candles, I do like the tension. I think the lead up is bad because what in the fuck are they doing down there? It doesn't make any fucking sense, man.
I watched it 3 times. I have no fucking idea why they were down there and what they were doing.
And then so it's cool because, and in fact, I rented this movie on my phone today, and I'm literally watching the scene right now. So they're down there and they're measuring the lengths, it sounds like, via like candles.
They're measuring some length with candles for some fucking reason.
Right. Why are there candles other than to build suspense? I don't know. Why are they measuring the basement of a prison planet that they've lived on for an unknown amount of time? Why do they need to know at this point? It doesn't make any sense. And then the first kill is super sick because the dude, like you said, very typical horror. He's walking and there's water dripping to the side and he looks up and it's water dripping out of the alien's mouth and then it tackles him, right?
Classic alien horror. Classic.
And it was great. It was great. But then the camera does something weird where the alien is like killing him off to the side. And I think this movie is at its best and most unique when it has that Fincher gore, that body horror happening. And so the alien munching him off to the side just doesn't do it for me. So that's kind of a minus point for me. But when it gets really bad is when the two guys run away. They see the alien eating the dude and then they run away. And like we've talked about probably ad nauseum at this point, this movie had really bad script problems where David Fincher had filmed as much as he was allowed to and then basically left the project and then they had to piece together like what was left. So this scene really highlights that in my opinion because the running scene, like when they're running away doesn't make any sense. They literally run around these corridors like they're in freaking Scooby-Doo.
I was just about to say, you did like the Scooby-Doo running away. You did like the Scooby-Doo with the bubblegum pop music. Like,
They might as well have done that because they're running around into doors and doors and doors and it doesn't make any sense. And then they somehow circle back to where their dead friend is. And it doesn't make any sense. It looks like they were running the complete opposite direction the whole time. And it doesn't make any sense.
That's Scooby-Doo.
It's Scooby-Doo as hell.
Scooby-Doo.
And then it takes me completely out of it. But then it kind of brings it back when the alien lifts the dude up and like bites his head off. And blood like squirts everywhere. It's sick as hell. But it's again, moments like that where I'm like, holy shit. The meat is there. It could be so good. These scenes are so sick, but the pathway in between is just a jumbled mess to me. It just doesn't like it. It does better as separate scenes and watching those scenes for what they are and just enjoying, the picture, than it does as a complete movie to me. But no, I think the costume overall looks good there though.
Yeah, costume definitely looks good. I'm a little upset that you brought up the Scooby-Doo running away. I was worried that that's what you were gonna say, because when I say I like that scene, I like it I like it as if the last shot was blood face, and then we went to it's a dragon and like in the infirmary and stuff, and like we could just put together because we're smart, like we're a smart audience. People are smart. Like the other one of them didn't make it. Great. Right. Like got it. But you do miss out on that David Fincher gore, which is, necessary in a movie like this. I would say, but, it's literally just straight up out of Scooby-Doo.
It's so absurd.
They might as well have been in a hallway running in and out of different doors, and then one moment they're chasing the xenomorph and stuff, and then because it's just so fucked up because like it's literally that's what always happens in Scooby-Doo. They run around, they do the whole thing, they have the bubblegum pop song, and then they end up exactly where they were when they started running.
Yeah, dude.
It's literally, it's like another part of the contract. Like, it's like, okay, we have to have a new metal scene, and then we also have to have a Scooby-Doo reference because Warner Brothers and stuff like that. Like,
it's for sure.
No, it's 20th Century Fox. Warner Brothers owns 20th Century Fox now. When did they buy it? Did they buy it around this time? Because they own the IP for Scooby-Doo.
For Scooby-Doo, maybe, man. Maybe,
God.
And if
that's why.
If this is a Joan of Arc Scooby-Doo crossover, then I'm fucking wrong and this is a masterpiece of a movie.
Exactly, dude. That's what I'm fucking saying, man. Oh my God. But yes, you are 100% correct. The context of the scene is, I mean, there is none. Yeah, you don't know what the fuck is why they're down there. They're measuring it's like so far in the future, and they're using candles to measure stuff. Like you would think that they could just like I mean, obviously it's a rundown facility, but it was a rundown facility that's become a prison that used to be a giant furnace thing. I'm sure somebody could find a fucking tape measure, like at least something like that. So yeah, the context of the scene isn't really there. You could say, one could argue it's non-existent. And but the scene itself and like the filmmaking of the scene and like the tension and stuff is a lot of fun in that moment. And I think you're right about the overall the overall movie is not good, but there's really good moments like scenes that are really good and stuff, but then how those work in different contexts don't work. Like that scene minus the Scooby-Doo part would be like a great short horror like film. Like scene.
I don't disagree with that.
And like without the Scooby-Doo and stuff, like that would be great.
Right.
But then you put it in the context of everything else and it's like, okay, well, what the fuck is this? Like, what the fuck does this even mean? So yeah, it's strange.
It is.
It's strange for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. You bring up a lot of good points. Maybe this movie does fucking suck.
Dude, I think it does, man. It does.
I think this movie might suck. I don't know. Let me just double check my notes and make sure I don't have any truth bombs hiding in here. No, that's no. That note literally doesn't even matter anymore because of what we've talked about. So like that doesn't even matter. Yeah, no. All right. So I guess I'm gonna have to concede on this one. This movie sucks. It's a shame. Stay tuned for more episodes as I get roasted on my own show every episode. Man, I thought I had you. On some of these points, but yeah, I think the good parts of I think the bad outweighs the good just enough to make it a hard pass.
but
sure.
I mean, like, I do agree with you that like it really does have moments of true brilliance. I think Charles Dance was so good.
Just incredible.
And I think this movie actually has the most, probably top 5 most iconic horror movie shots of all time.
The one with the up close to her and stuff. Like that's, everyone knows that.
You can't beat that. I mean that to me, that whole sequence is honestly like up there with, Michael Myers sitting up in the background when Laurie Strode thinks she's fine.
Yes, dude.
Of Jason Voorhees coming up out of the lake, and like it is, it's one of the most iconic shots of all time. And I mean, it really is a shame that this movie just, like I said,
I will say about that scene. That scene is even more compelling when you realize that that iconic moment is even more compelling. It doesn't kill her because it knows that there's one inside of her.
Right.
And like that is extremely compelling. Like once that truth bomb gets dropped on you, like near the end and stuff like that. And it really enhances that scene and stuff. And that's why I had a hard time like not liking it, because there's so much good like foreshadowing, in it. Like there's just great foreshadowing throughout, and that's probably like the most important example, but there's all these little nuggets of stuff that are just like so good and like make me want to keep watching, even though it does start to fall flat after that scene and everything. So like, I mean, writing wise, like the structure of it, they really tried to do the O'Bannon thing, but they missed the mark a little bit just because of what was actually happening and how it was happening. But the foreshadowing is good with David Fincher. I mean, like, come on, like he loves to foreshadow, as we all know and love. But Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, who was even in that fucking movie besides Sigourney Weaver and Charles Dance? Like, who gives a fuck about anybody else?
Yeah,
Dylan's good too. I do think Dylan's good.
But his whole character is, you know, with the religion thing, but he does deliver the best line in the movie, probably. When of course the skinhead punks fail to take advantage of Ripley because of him, which thank God he saved her. He says, what is it exactly? It's like, I think some of the brothers need re-educating on matters of the spirit, and he proceeds to beat the shit out of them.
Whack, whack, whack.
Incredible lines, man. That's
that's pretty fucking sick. Yeah, you're right. It's amazing.
He does do a good job for sure.
He does. And I will say one last thing I did really like. I completely agree with you in your disagreement with that Bishop was her voices for the Joan of Arc thing. Like, no, I did really like that they brought Bishop in and he uses him to like help her figure out what happened and stuff. And then I really, really liked when the company shows up and it's fucking Bishop. It's another Bishop, and he's like, no, I'm not a robot. No, it's me. Like, and then he's a fucking robot too. And you're like fucking sick. You're like, fuck the company. See, and that's another thing. There was great dramatic irony because the warden's like, the company's good. They're going to help us. And like Ripley's stupid. And we as the audience are like, no, fucking no, absolutely not. Like, so there's a lot of good storytelling in terms of like the foreshadowing and dramatic irony and stuff. But I think it might just come down to the acting of everyone that's not Charles Dance, Sigourney Weaver, and Dylan there. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting your actual name, sir. But yeah, it's just everything else is like, I mean, even the warden, like he's playing a stupid warden, you know, like, I mean, and he is a stupid warden, but like, I'm just like, I can like your character a little bit. Like I'm allowed to like you, you know, as your character in the story.
So bad, dude. He's so bad. Rest in peace. I didn't know that actor passed away a few years after recording Alien 3.
Oh,
rest in peace to him. But he's very bad in this movie.
No, come on. You can't do that. Know that. You can't just let me just talk shit. Just let me just do like a whole minute of like, yeah, this guy fucking sucks, dude. And just be like, well, he died like pretty shortly after the filming. Like,
from complications of the film, actually.
So he died for this role, is what you're trying to tell me.
Asbestos in the xenomorph costume got him.
Great. Cool. Yikes. I'm glad. Rest in peace.
They didn't have to write his character like that, though. Again, I don't want to shit on anybody's acting because I'm sure it's really difficult to be that, but like they did not. They wrote his character like the Malwich guy from fucking Princess Bride, dude. It was terrible. He was so bad. He was this incompetent, mumbling. Oh god, dude, it was so bad.
Yeah, he literally was there just that character was literally just there for to further the plot, and he was there because I'm the warden, so I get to do whatever I want, and I'm not going to do what you want. There's conflict. Right. Anyway, I'm going to not be in a scene for 20 more minutes. I just need to stir up some more interpersonal conflict. And stuff. And yeah.
I mean, like, and the tension between him and Charles Dance's character was super annoying. Like, it didn't.
It's honestly, stupid. It
do anything for me. I was you guys are bickering, and that's it.
Yeah, Clemens, Charles Dance there is Tywin Lannister. Sorry, is the smartest person in the whole movie.
Absolutely.
Like, absolutely. Like, usually it's Ripley, of course, but as we've discussed, she makes some pretty glaringly stupid decisions and stuff. He's the only one that does everything right the entire time, and he dies early on for it. I think I'm ready to have a final verdict on whether this movie is film or filth, or if this movie fucks or sucks. I don't know.
What are your thoughts?
I think I'm ready. This movie sucks. This movie sucks, man. I can't. I think a 46 Rotten Tomatoes score is right on the money. I think the critics got it right. I understand the 46% of people who like it, but 54 is heavy, and there's a lot more to say about how bad it is and how things fall flat. It's like, I guess what I'm realizing now, it's like it had all the classic staples of an Alien movie that you want and that you need to have a good Alien movie, and then it somehow perfectly toes the line between not doing nearly enough to make it a good movie and then also doing way too much to make it a good movie.
I agree with that.
Yeah, so I think Thompson is right in the sense that it is that I'm going to rephrase him a little bit to say there's too much going on for it to be a good movie. Not it's too interesting to be entertaining. No, there's too much going on for it to be a good movie. If they had stuck to one angle. Yeah. So sorry, Thompson from the Washington Post. You're wrong about this one, bud.
I like to think he's like feeling like little twinges every single time we talk about him. Like,
we brought him up a lot. Yeah.
An article he wrote in 1992 about Alien3.
Yeah. He's just like, man, he's just like, what the fuck is even happening? Yeah. Oh my God. And he's like, why do I feel this way right now?
Do you think had Fincher gotten the full reign that he wanted, do you think this movie would have been good?
Oh, yeah. I think if he had been there from the beginning and stayed through it to the end, because, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just he got the director role because he did the most.
Right.
Out of anybody else who came in and had their hands all over it and stuff. And but because he wasn't involved with the whole process, and like you said, they had to kind of like smash stuff that they already had in with his good stuff. You know, I mean, what is that thing that people always say? If you have 9 pounds of ice cream and 1 pound of shit and you mix it together, you get 10 pounds of shit. So, so he put a lot of good in there, but there was just enough of shit to make that ice cream inedible almost, let's say. Not that I don't recommend everybody watch the movie, and if you have it, and see what's going on and form your own opinions, of course. Because obviously neither of us are experts in filmmaking and stuff like that. Neither of us do that for a living. We just obsessively watch all of them all the time.
Right.
And have a lot of things to say, which is why this podcast is in existence and everything. But yeah, man, I'm going to have to dub you for this episode. Tyler is the currently reigning master debater.
Hey.
Tyler is the master debater. The master of debate. Master debating all over the place, all the time.
All over the place, dude. Constantly. Wow.
That's you.
Well,
that's you right now.
It is an honor, sir. It is an honor. I honestly feel good about it. I hate shitting on art. Because I do think that I still think this movie is worth a watch. You know, I mean,
absolutely, yeah.
I'm glad I watched it, honestly, but it just good.
Yeah, because I rewatched everything Alien, all the way like chronologically. I watched it all chronologically from Prometheus to Alien Resurrection. Prometheus is not going to come up on this show because that movie's fucking awesome. That movie's great. That movie goes so fucking hard. Oh my God. But, that movie's phenomenal. Alien Covenant's not very good though. Just I'll give everybody a 2-second opinion on all of those. Prometheus, absolutely incredible. Alien Covenant, great lore building, but fucking dog shit. Alien, the best movie that's ever been made. Aliens, one of the best movies that's ever been made. Alien3, unfortunately, very flat, but had the right idea. I have to say it sucks because it just does now. It just does for me. And then Alien Resurrection, I don't even know about that one. We may have to talk about that one at some point. I got a lot of strong opinions on that one too. Like it's a strange movie, but like in a way that I like, but in a way that I also am like, why the fuck are these Guardians of the Galaxy knockoff fucking group of people in this movie? Like that's what it felt like. I was like, so it's Guardians of the Galaxy, but not entertaining. Like Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know. But anyway, so watch Alien, watch Aliens, watch Prometheus, and then fill in the gaps yourself because you might be able to do a better job yourself, honestly. Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you for joining me. And
thanks for having me.
Making me regret doing this whole podcast since I didn't win the first debate. That's not good. That's not good. That's not good. And for anybody who might be listening, don't know what we're going to do next time, but it will not be horror, sci-fi, or alien related in any way. So you got that to look forward to if you don't give a shit about any of these kind of movies. It won't just be me and Tyler talking about horror, which it very well could be, but we're going to try to avoid doing that. But there will be a great return of Tyler. I'll of course have him on again. We'll check in on him, how he's doing, how the babies at the hospital are doing, and that he takes care of because he's a nurse. No, he's a nurse. Remember, saves lives. Everybody likes Tyler. Tyler's great. We'll check in on him and we'll talk about more movies. And maybe next time I'll be able to get my title back as master debater. But for now, Tyler is the master debater. And we'll just have to go from there, and I'll have to not fall asleep the first time I watch the movie we're going to talk about next time with whatever it is. maybe that'll help. But all right, y'all. Appreciate it, Tyler. Once again, love you, bud.
Thanks, buddy. I'm seeing.
Piece of shit. Well, hopefully that was everything you hoped and dreamed it would be. It sure wasn't for me. I lost on my own fucking show. First fucking show and I lost already, but that's fine. That's fine. Keep listening and I'll get better as a debater and maybe I'll win a few of these every once in a while. Wouldn't that be nice? Follow on Twitter and Instagram at Bad Movie Debate on both. No underscore or any of that fancy stuff. Just Bad Movie Debate, all one word, all lowercase. I'll keep you updated on when episodes are going to come out, maybe tease what they're going to be, all that kind of fun stuff, keep you engaged on social media and stuff. But most importantly, I am going to put up a poll on both where people can vote whether a movie that we just talked about is good or bad. And at the beginning of the next episode, I'll go over those user polls and let everybody know what the masses think and everything like that. So next episode we'll start with going over that before we get into the next movie and the next debate about said movie. Once again, thank you so much for joining me on this journey as I try to sound really smart about movies. Hopefully I will start to sound smarter and become a better debater so I don't just get flamed every single time. But only one way to find out if that is going to be the case, and that's to keep listening. So thank y'all so much. Give a follow on all those fucking social medias or whatever, and join us next time.